be licensed there. Eh. So we're contemplating of hiring directly there. No? So it's an option naman to bring in and then have them be educated in the United States. But just like what I said, those are the issues that we need to really finalize still. Eh. Especially now with the economic situation in the United States. It's the timing. Eh. Timing is very important also. Eh.
Okay. You know, there are a lot of lifestyle network shows, other TV shows that feature salons. Would you do something like that, Kaya? Or?
We're very active with sponsoring fashion shows. We just did Flip Flops fashion show sponsoring just a week ago. Some designers, they approach us for makeups for the fashion shows. Now we're very active with that.
Okay. For Robert and Joe, so you're overseas. How does franchising help expand your business and sustain it, maintain it? You know, how does it get bigger?
Well, just being in the United States and just being in California alone, we should be able to put up at least 10 to 15 stores. At the moment, we have 8 stores, 7 of which are in California. 5 of which are in California, 2 are in Hawaii. So just the growth, the expansion potential for North America is so big. We're opening New Jersey, hopefully by the end of the month, and Toronto, Canada by September or October. So that alone, I think if we can do 10 to 15 stores, if we do it right, per year, will bring us to another level of expansion from what we started before with just 50 stores to 115 in the Philippines, and then maybe another 50 stores internationally. So we're very excited, and I think what's also giving us that little push is the Filipino brand can go global, and we have proven it in other brands, not only Max. So there are more than 30 brands global.
Mr. Magsaysay?
Well, we actually you have to work with the franchise organizations on the countries you go to. Like we're working now on our franchise disclosures and working with U.S. attorneys. But it's important that you get your foot on the door of franchise organizations locally, and we're looking at the U.S. to be bigger than Philippine operations in the next 5 years, and that's what's really pushing us now.
Okay. Of course, when you franchise, then you have that franchise or franchisee relationship, and you have this whole, it's like an empire, I suppose, no? That you're overseeing. How do you maintain that relationship? How do you keep that business going? Mr. Moreno.
Well, for us, we hold annual assemblies, no? So to make it more interesting, aside from, of course, presenting the business plan or presenting what the programs are for the coming year, we were able to acquire the service of Mr. Joey Reyes of PowerSpeak, so he did a talk for all our franchisees, and it's one way of really being transparent, no, and really assisting them fully. Well, of course, the marketing support should always be there, no. It's very important for a franchisee because you may have your system in place, but if you don't have that marketing support that you could provide to them, it's something they look forward to, the support, marketing support.
Okay, Robert?
Well, I believe that the infrastructure of your organization should be intact or complete for you to be able to support international franchisees. Because if you don't support them or you don't give them what they're looking for, then you will have a bad franchisee or a failed franchise. So from the training to the quality assurance to the R&D to the marketing, that whole backbone that will bring them forward has to be in place before you even start going international. Because once you go international and you have contracts with different entities, the last thing you want to do in the United States is get into a lawsuit, where it's going to be very costly, and that there are many regulations that protect the franchisee more than they protect the franchisor. So those backbone infrastructure has to be in place for you to expand and for you to expand properly. So.
And you can't just shut down the business, no, once you're overseas.
Well, it's going to affect your brand. So if we built the brand for 65 years, and if I don't do it right internationally, it can destroy what we've created or what my parents and Lola, they might wake up from their grave or they might go after me and say, what did you do?
Yeah.
So-
Well, the same should go for other companies that don't have 65 years behind them. Pareho lang, di ba?
Well, the thing is, and then, whether you're only 10 years, 5 years, creating that brand, building it, and if you don't take care of it, you'll destroy it. So I think that's why I do suggest that anyone that wants to go internet, well, do it slowly. When Joe started his first store and he's learned for it for the few months, then build it up slowly, slowly until you can get to a point that you're confident enough to grow it. And then once you get that whole infrastructure in place, that will just go uphill all the way.
Okay, Joe, magsaysay.
I agree with Robert and Freddie 100%. But on our part too, I believe it's all about, aside from what they both said, it's all about, to me, being gray. My being gray means being able to compromise your position and being flexible. Like, for example, well, we've been doing that here in the Philippines, being flexible and compromising in every way, but making sure that you retain the brand DNA. And to my mind, for Potato Corner, the brand DNA is all about the shaking, making sure that your market are the children, the exciting colors you have, and the flavored French fries. So in the US, in Malaysia, in Indonesia, all I tell them is, I'm giving you a lot of latitude to where to take the brand where it wants to go, how you want to take it, but make sure that DNA remains the same, because if you change the DNA of anything, it becomes a monster.
Okay. Before I ask the next and last question, I was told that there will be an open forum anyway. So I wanted to invite people in the audience, if you have any questions after this last question. So I think, yeah, there are mics in the aisles. Okay. So my question is, if there were one or at least, or three best practices that were crucial to your company's success, what would it or these be? Fred Moreno?
I would say on our part would be providing our clientele with the safest and best product available in the market. Because for a beauty salon, it's how would I say it? It's more than just a cut of the hair or just color of the hair. You make sure that your clients are safe. That's number one. That's your responsibility, your clientele. That you make sure that anything you put into their body, their hair, their nails, everything should be safe. So we really invest in the best available products in the market. So I would say among the rest, that would be our foremost, foremost,
Best practice.
yes.
Okay. Robert Trota?
For me, I think it's our ability to adapt to change and to grow with it. And because, again, being a 65-year-old company, if we didn't grow and adapt to this change, I don't think we'll be here today. So that continuous innovation, upgrade, and maybe brand building or brand image building, I think is the key for us. And that, for me, is one of our best practices.
Okay. And Joe, magsaysay?
To me, it's about being fluid and dynamic in planning, and equally dynamic and fluid in execution.
Okay, and copying.
And sometimes copying.
Not just the contract, the song too. Okay, questions from the audience? Anybody? Or you've heard everything you wanted to hear? Walang tanong. No questions? None? Yes, sir. Your name, please, and organization.
Professor Joe Faustino. I just want to reassure the three guys up front. Copying is okay. Why? The rest of us call it benchmarking. And the other side of that is called best practice, which we will talk about this afternoon.
Thank you, sir. Response? Joe, ikaw.
Of course, I definitely appreciate benchmarking. Benchmarking on Potato Corner, and I believe in well, I've talked about this a few times, and I think before you enter a game, or if you want to play the game well and win, you have to learn how to play the game well by learning all the rules very well. If you learn the rules very well, it's certain that you will play the game well. Now, if you learn the rules very well and play the game well, you can change the rules or the way the game is played a little. And that's the way we do it. We change the way a game is played every so often so that we are the only ones playing the game the way the game is played. When other people start copying, joining the game we're playing, we start changing the game a little so that, again, we are on the next level, playing the game on our own again. And then until somebody else plays the game we're playing too, we change the game, the way the game is played again.
So that's your answer to the question of how you deal with
Well, to me,
competition.
yeah. I think they have to benchmark. I think it's being the leader and the pathfinder or the one who opens the road. And I'm just happy that people will follow and copy us.
Okay. Any other questions from the audience? Yes?
Here. Excuse me. Here, there. Actually, that was supposed to be my question, but I think it's related to that. Like, when you go into a country like Indonesia or Malaysia, a concept like Potato Corner, Sergio, it's really easy to copy. Like, it's just French fries with flavor. And it's not as if, you know, the powder that you used to put flavor in the fries is something really hard to find or something hard to formulate. How do you, like, specific stuff, have you encountered people who have done the same in different markets, who have copied your concept? And at the same time, what were the specific things? You mentioned earlier that you just need to keep on differentiating your business from other people, that if they copy you, then you create a new game. Like, have you had, or what were some specific examples of, you know, changing the game? Thank you.
Well, when I mean changing the game, the way the game is played, I mean it on a strategic point of view, not the product, because you already know that I will not change the DNA of the brand or the product itself, because that's the way we are, and because we're 18 years in the business. Like Max says, we've been serving several, like they've been serving like 7 generations already, probably. We've been serving 3 generations on the kids level, and I think you have to retain that kind of consistency. But on the strategic level, that's what you have to change. But definitely, you know, on the first 2 years of Potato Corner, there were more people who copied flavor French fries than Potato Corner outlets there were. So to us, it's really a compliment, no? That people copy, and we're into this business for different reasons, and they're there copying us for different reasons too, and that's the advantage, because they will never be able to follow why we got into this business in the first place, and that is part of the passion we have, and part it's something that it is in the heart. You can copy our operations manual. Potato Corner is so simple. Anybody can put up a flavored French fries business here in the U.S. But you know, the drive or why you want to put up that business and how you want to grow it, that I think can never be copied.
There's nothing like the original.
Well, you know, before that was nice to say, but I think it doesn't follow anymore, because people, it depends on how. It depends, you know. I think the world now runs on it depends, and every week you have to be different in some way.
Yeah. No, but there's still nothing like the original. You know, that 28-year-old who emailed from the States because he couldn't forget your
Well, you know,
from halfway around the
you're
world.
right. There's nothing like the first mover, and you get the first mover advantage. That's why, to my mind, being in Indonesia, like what we did here, is achieving critical mass because of franchising in a short span of time. Our strategy now in the U.S. is to achieve critical mass in a short span of time so that we will be the brand leader for that category.
Okay, sir?
Yes, my name is Gardy Cruz from Pansit Malabon Express. And my question is addressed to Robert, to Mr. Trota. My question is, about your secret.